Hey guys, this is RetroSpecter. Hope you guys are having a good day today. Just kind of wanted to make this video because I haven't really been active on the channel lately. So I kind of wanted to update you guys about just kind of what's been going on in my life and where the mod is and where the remixes have been. So I guess first off, I'll start with where is Verse Retrospector Part 2? Verse Retrospector Part 2 has been a huge passion project for the past 4 years. The assets for it are finally complete. However, we are in the process of playtesting privately and making sure everything is correct before we start rolling it out to a few friends to get their input and see what we get. The issue with Verse Retro is it's been private for so long that I can't just roll it around to strangers and trust that they won't leak anything, especially after what happened with the 1.5 update. So unfortunately, it's a lot of private playtesting, which does take more time than just having like a group. And I don't know how to do like NDAs and stuff like that. I'm not like a game developer, especially not like a professional game developer. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why the mod is taking so long. I know I said I was going to get this out in fall of last year. I heavily apologize for that. I didn't think it would take this long to come out. But here we are. I really wanted to get this out before Deltarune, but unfortunately, it's not possible at this point. I was crunching myself like 12 hours a day for the past couple months, hoping to get this out, especially once I heard that Deltarune was getting a release date. Now, you might be wondering, why would getting this out before Deltarune even matter? Well, the biggest reason is Deltarune and Friday Night Funkin' share a very similar fan base on my channel specifically. So I was worried that mixing the two and kind of like having my mod in between the Deltarune stuff would kind of mess up the channel, whether it be like in the algorithm or just people like not, only viewing one but not the other. So I kind of wanted to avoid that. So the idea was to get this out before Deltarune. However, the mod needs a little more time in the oven to finish. So yeah. Now another question you might be asking is, why has the mod taken 4 years to finish and wrap up? Well, there's a few reasons for this. The biggest one is I have depression, and I know that's like seems like an excuse a lot of people seem to use, but no, I am genuinely diagnosed with depression, and it is very hard for me to work without feeling like physically fatigued. It's not just a mental thing, and it's not the type of depression where, like I want to like harm myself or anything like that. It's the kind of depression where just doing a simple task can completely tire you out. Like just getting up and like writing a script for 30 minutes can like tire you out so bad to the point where you need a nap. That's the kind of depression that I have, and I've had it for quite some time now. For those that aren't aware, I was also diagnosed with type 2 diabetes a couple years ago, and that also kind of hurts my fatigue a lot. So that combined with the depression, it's just not a good combination. However, I'm trying my best and doing everything I can to get this mod into your guys' hands. I want this out just as bad as you guys, but all I ask is for a little bit more patience, and I appreciate the ones who have been waiting quietly. I also want to clarify that we have not been working on this every single day for the past 4 years. 2023 saw a huge dip in activity for the mod. During that year, I was mostly focusing on streaming, and a lot of other dev members were kind of doing their own thing. So because of that, the mod's more so been in development for like 3 years rather than 4. I just say 4 years because, it's technically been 4 years. But I felt like clarifying that because I don't want people to get their expectations up and think like, oh wow, you guys were working on this every single day for the past 4 years. It's going to be huge, right? No. It's going to be big, but it's not going to be like, oh my god, it's the craziest thing in the world. Some remaining things I want to clarify about the mod. Kamix made most of the music for part 2. due to my depression. I felt like anything I made didn't really live up to my own standards anymore. And also, I'm just a little sick of working with like boyfriend's vocals and stuff like that. So honestly, the mod wouldn't have finished. I probably would have canceled without him. So to the two people that are like complaining that Camix did most of the music for part 2 instead of me, keep crying. But yeah, also another thing is I've just lost a lot of interest in FNF, especially FNF modding, and I'm sure you guys know why. But yeah, I've just, I've moved on. It's, it's been 4 years. I've been interested in a lot of other things since then, but I still wanted to finish this. It's just, we're incredibly late to the modding scene, especially OC modding. I don't really see anyone talk about OC mods that much anymore. So, but better late than never. I also feel like I need to clarify this just so people don't get their expectations up. Retro and Sakurama are the only ones that will have new phases. In fact, most of the sins were only going to have one song each. However, thanks to Camix, each sin besides Retro and Saku will have at least 2 songs each. So, yeah, I do want to clarify again. There will not be phases for every sin. That would cost too much time and too much money. Speaking of money, this mod costs a lot. Obviously, I'm not going to say how much, but it was more than I ever thought it would cost. And due to that, I think that also kind of contributed to my depression, just seeing my savings go down and down. A few years ago, during like the FNF boom, one of my family members borrowed quite a big chunk of my money, and they still haven't paid me back for that yet, and I don't blame them at all. Because I know how hard it is for them, and that's why I lent them some money in the first place. But the fact that I haven't gotten that back yet kind of made this a little harder in my life. And if they're watching this, I don't want them to feel bad. It's not their fault. But, it did kind of put a dent in my plans, and also the mod releasing much later than expected. Here's another thing too. When you're working on a big project like this that's private for years, you can't really show anything to advertise it. You can't really release anything to monetize it. And the fact that it's a mod, I can't even sell this once it's out. So because of all that, I'm essentially working a 9-to-5, except instead of getting money in return, I'm losing money because, I have to pay all these artists and programmers while also working myself. So the savings have just been going down and down. Now you might be thinking, Retro, if you didn't make a lot of the music for part 2, then what did you do exactly for this mod? Well, the biggest thing I did was the writing. I wrote tons of lines and tons of revisions, just like nonstop. I've been doing nothing but writing for probably the past like half a year, I want to say. Mostly just making sure like the main story is good, and then also just all the side story dialogue. I wanted to make sure that was like fun and interesting as well. So that's what I've been busy with, just on top of like directing people. Since this is my passion project, I'm pretty nitpicky when it comes to changes and stuff. So like when a programmer makes a change, I want to make sure it's exactly how I want it. So that is another thing that I've been doing, is just kind of like directing and commanding the team to do certain things, and also making sure the team always had work to do. So yeah, I spent pretty much, the past few years commissioning people, telling people what to do, checking in on people who were late on like deadlines, kind of just being the glue that holds the team together, on top of all the writing that I've been doing. And like I mentioned earlier, since I wasn't making any money, I ended up starting to sell some of my adopts that I've bought. I started ending up reselling some adopts that I've bought over the past few years that I had originally planned on using in my universe. It's been a way to make some money while I wrap up the project, which is really nice, at the very least. Speaking of, I'm reselling a ton of adopts that I've gotten throughout the past 3 years. So if you're interested in any of them, there's a link to my toy house where you can browse characters, and some have prices, others are tentative. But if you want to check that out, there's a link in the description. Okay, I'm already 10 minutes into this video, so I'm going to bring up the next thing and wrap it up pretty quickly. It's been 2 years since my last proper remix, which was the Pizza Tower remix that I made. 2 years is a long time. So you might be wondering, Retro, are remixes going to ever come back? And I'm cautiously happy to say that when Deltarune Chapter 3 and 4 come out, I will probably remix some of them. In fact, I'm probably going to focus on Deltarune for like a month or two while we polish up Verse Retro. And then once Deltarune is kind of like over and done with, I'm probably going to finally release the mod. Basically, our options were to either release this right before Deltarune in a panic with a lot of bugs, or hold on to it for just a little bit longer so it had time to bake in the oven just a little bit more. And I ultimately decided on the latter. And I want to thank my team members for being patient, because I know a lot of you guys have had assets that have just been private for years, and you know, we were expecting to get this out, and then unfortunately we had to delay it internally again. But to give you a more proper answer on when the mod is coming out, realistically it should come out this summer. For some reason, just worst case scenario, I can't imagine it taking longer than Verse Retro Part 1's 4-year anniversary, which was August 28th of 2021, I believe. So realistically, I want to say we'll drop this sometime in July. Worst case scenario, probably the 4-year anniversary. If for some reason, and if this happens, I'm so sorry, you are getting the mod this year, 100%. I'm very bad with dates and estimates, so, but I can 100% confirm you guys are getting the mod this year. Just expect a possible delay. I don't like giving dates until we're more comfortable and ready, but yeah, so July or end of August or this year. Those are your 3 options. As for future remixes after Deltarune, I'm not sure. I've kind of lost interest in music lately. The remixing scene on YouTube is like kind of in a weird spot, just with like nerdcore kind of pushing it out, in my opinion. And also like, you know, AI is starting to like generate stuff, and you know, it's just like, it's a weird spot mixed with my depression. I don't have a lot of motivation to just make a random ass like Pokemon remix these days anymore. So maybe in the future I'll open up commissions again, or who knows, maybe I'll have a random burst. But for now, at the very least, you guys will get some Deltarune remixes. I hope you guys enjoy that at the very least. And with that, I think I'm finally done with this video. I apologize if it was all over the place. I wasn't reading from a script or anything like that. And I probably missed a few things that I also really wanted to talk about, but I can always add that in like a pinned comment or a new video or something if I really wanted to. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. And I will see you for... Oh, I will be streaming Deltarune Chapter 3 and 4 when they come out. So I think that's like Wednesday or something, the time of this recording. So yeah, if you want to watch me play that, then there you go. All right. See you guys. Thanks for watching this video. Peace.
Ah, you're both awake. Splendid.